Good Sunday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's weather forecast, we are going to be going over the threats for severe weather these next few days, as we will have that potential for even a tornado outbreak as we head to tomorrow, as the Storm Prediction Center has upgraded that to an enhanced risk. So we will be going over that a lot. Plus, we will also be going over the risks for flash flooding as well, which, we will once again show you guys that we are expecting a lot of rainfall and potentially that risk for significant flooding. And then we'll also be going over the tropics at the end of today's video. But something else I do want to tell you guys is that it is daylight saving times day, so if you guys forgot to turn your clocks back an hour, make sure to do that, as time is a little bit different this time of year, especially because we are getting very close to the shortest day of the year, which is around December 21st. So once again, make sure to turn your clocks back an hour, as it is daylight saving times day if you forgot. But if you have done that, that is great, and make sure to do all that before we forget. But let's first go ahead and take a look at the risks for severe weather. And as you guys can see, we do have a slight risk for severe weather for today across parts there of central Oklahoma, all the way back down near the Albany area in Texas. And the main concerns for today looks to be that tornado threat, as we do have a 5% risk for tornadoes for today across those same areas. We also do have a wind threat too as well across those same areas too as well. And then for the hail threat, not as widespread because it does include southeast Oklahoma, but we do have a hatched risk for large hail, which is pretty much this black circle with the lines going through it that indicates a risk for 2-inch in diameter hail or greater. So if you do live in between Oklahoma City all the way down there towards Albany, Texas, make sure you are putting your cars into your garage right now before these storms start to ramp up during the afternoon and as well as the evening hours today. But you should also be securing your objects, as we could see anywhere from 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts for today. And we also, will need you to have your tornado action plan in place just in case, as we will also have that risk for a couple of tornadoes, and I would not roll out a stronger tornado today, as conditions will be pretty favorable. Let's now go ahead and take a look at tomorrow, which will be much different than today, as like I said, we do have an enhanced risk for severe weather across parts there of Texas, especially areas just to the northeast of Dallas, all the way up there into Joplin, Missouri, guys. This is, another day where we might even be talking a potential tornado outbreak, as we do have a 10% hatch risk for tornadoes across those same areas, heading from areas just to the northeast of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, all the way up there towards Joplin, Missouri. So if you are in that 10% hatched risk for tornadoes, which is pretty much this yellow color with the black lines going through it, make sure you are prepared for strong tornadoes by securing your objects, which if we don't see a tornado, we will likely see damaging winds between 70 to 80 miles per hour, as we do have a much higher chance of damaging winds in this red color heading from Joplin, Missouri, all the way back down to areas northeast of Dallas, like I said. So even if we don't see a strong tornado tomorrow, like I said, you guys still need to make sure you're securing your objects, as we could still be seeing anywhere from 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. And then, of course, be aware of large hail. Even if we don't end up seeing large hail, you guys should still put your cars into your garage, so that way they are protected from both wind and as well as that potential for, strong tornadoes, like I said. So make sure you're doing all that, like I said, before we head into tomorrow, because, this is going to be another huge day. And so I will try to be live tomorrow evening to cover this. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that way we can help spread the message to everyone about this tornado outbreak, and so that way we can help keep everyone safe, as this area is actually pretty populated. And Ryan Hall, y'all, should also be live once again too as well, so make sure to stay tuned on his channel if you want to watch his as well. But at least make sure to subscribe, like I said, so that way we can help spread the message to everyone before we head into tomorrow. And then if we look at how favorable for tornadoes will be tomorrow, starting off early in the day tomorrow, where we will have some pretty high significant tornado parameters there across southeast Oklahoma, and some areas are seeing anywhere from a 7 to 8 out of 10, which is on the higher part of the significant tornado parameter scale. So that's enough to really cause a couple of strong tornadoes starting tomorrow morning. And then for tomorrow evening, this is where the biggest out of tomorrow is going to occur, as we do have more widespread significant tornado parameters heading from Joplin, Missouri, all the way back down there towards the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So once again, we are going to, try to be live for this tomorrow. And I do have a very busy schedule tomorrow afternoon, so I might have to go live during the evening hours. So I may not be live if we do end up seeing any tornadoes tomorrow morning. But like I said, I will at least try to be live during the evening hours, as once again we will have that risk for strong tornadoes, and tomorrow evening looks to be the biggest part of tomorrow with that highest potential for strong tornadoes. So once again, make sure you're subscribed, as we will try to spread that message to everyone about this potential tornado outbreak as we head to tomorrow, as conditions will be very favorable, especially tomorrow evening. And then finally for Tuesday now, as you guys can see, for Tuesday of this week, we don't have any risk for severe weather as of right now, but I certainly would not be surprised if we did get a little bit of a marginal risk across either of these areas. And I also wouldn't be surprised if these even connected. So there's some pretty big changes that, we could definitely see as we head into Tuesday, especially because we are still a few days out from when, we're expecting this to occur. So like I said, we could definitely see a marginal risk of severe weather, especially if a lot of these ingredients linger into Tuesday from tomorrow. So it really just depends on what happens tomorrow, which will determine on what we will see on Tuesday. So make sure you are at least, watching if you do live across the Great Lakes region, or even down here towards, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas. Make sure you are watching for that potential. It may be a marginal risk to get issued tomorrow. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to be too bad, but like I said, that's just determined on what we end up seeing tomorrow, whether it will end up being a tornado outbreak or whether it will kind of just be a little bit of a few tornado warnings, and that's all, which is kind of what we saw last time, which was a few days ago. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the excessive rainfall outlook for today. And as you guys can see, we do have a large slight risk for flash flooding heading from the Wichita area all the way up there towards parts of St. Louis, Missouri. So this is going to be another area to watch very closely. And I'm just going to say, yesterday we did have a moderate risk across that area for today, but they did end up canceling that, which is good news. But I still would recommend taking this very seriously, as a slight risk for flash flooding, many areas localized. Most unvariable are unbanned areas, roads, small streams, and watches isolated significant flash flood possible. So that doesn't mean that we will be seeing significant flash floods, but that does mean there is the possibility for that. So it sounds like the most of what we're going to see tomorrow is maybe some minor floods, unless they choose to upgrade that back to a moderate risk. But we're mainly expecting there to be significant flash, or not significant flash flood, but scattered flash floods as we head into tomorrow. So once again, make sure you are still taking this very seriously, as we could see, something similar in one of those areas. That's what's shown in this picture, as you can see, a car is almost completely underwater. So something like that could occur tomorrow, but that does remain very uncertain. Let's now go ahead and take a look at tomorrow. And as you guys can see, for tomorrow, we are, definitely going to be watching tomorrow very closely, as we will have that potential for flash flooding once again. and once again, we won't really be seeing much in the way of significant flash floods, but we will likely be seeing that potential, for some scattered flash flood, like I said. And I probably accidentally said tomorrow when I was showing you guys, what a slight risk for flash flooding means, but we can still expect there to be the same thing tomorrow as we are seeing today. It's just going to be a much bigger risk for flash flooding heading from the Great Lakes region all the way back down towards the Dallas-Fort Worth area, as once again we will likely see some scattered flash floods, but we won't likely see any significant flash floods, but one or two of those may occur, and if we do see that, they would be very isolated. Let's now go ahead and take a look at Tuesday now for the excessive rainfall outlook, and like I said, it's just going to depend on what happens tomorrow, whether we see a tornado outbreak or not, which is what's going to determine on, how much rainfall we see, or if any of those storms are even going to become severe as we head into Tuesday. But we still have a marginal risk for flash flooding as we head into Tuesday, heading from southern Indiana all the way back down there towards the Houston area. So we will still need to be watching parts of this storm very closely as we head into Tuesday, which once again still remains uncertain, as we still don't know what's going to be happening tomorrow. We're just determining on what's going to be happening tomorrow, which is mainly what's going to determine on what's going to happen as we head into Tuesday. So once again, make sure you are at least paying attention across this area, as we could still be seeing that potential for isolated flooding and maybe even a couple of severe storms. We'll have to see if we get upgraded to a marginal risk, which does remain uncertain. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the excessive rainfall outlook. This is anywhere from now all the way to November 13th, and as you guys can see, we got a pretty big area across the central United States, heading from the Great Lakes region all the way back down there into the southern plains, where we do have a lot of areas likely seeing anywhere from 2 to even much as 4 inches of rainfall, which will be widespread. However, though, parts of Iowa down there into lots of Missouri, and all the way back down into southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and as well as up there into parts there in northern Illinois, you guys will have the potential of anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of rainfall, with even some isolated totals, especially across central Missouri, possibly getting up there towards a foot. Now, once again, this isn't all going to occur in one day, but because we got a lot of slight risks for flash flooding across these same areas, both, today, tomorrow, and perhaps into Tuesday, that's, when we'll have that potential for, 1 to 2 inches each day. And if you do 2 times 3, which, like I said, will have that potential for flash flooding across these same areas today, tomorrow, and as well as into Tuesday. And if we end up seeing 2 inches of rainfall each of those days, that equals around 6 inches, which there are some maroon colors showing up. But like I said, even some isolated totals of up to a foot cannot be rolled out, especially if you get caught under a heavy thunderstorm. So make sure you are aware about that. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the Tropics now, which we have not took a look at for a little bit. And as you guys can see, we do have a area that we do need to be watching for. We're talking a 90% chance of development during the next 7 days across this area, which is mainly in the southern Caribbean. But tropical storm Patty has developed up there in the northern Atlantic Ocean, and this may turn into a hurricane. But when I last checked it, though, it looks like it's going to die down pretty significantly, especially because we'll be encountering some cooler waters up there, which does make sense because we are getting very close to winter, so a lot of things are starting to cool down pretty quick. But we will need to be watching that area very closely, as we will have that potential for Hurricane Patty. Like I said, this shows at 980 millibars, which indicates a high end category 1 hurricane potentially. So not the worst, but it's still going to be something to keep an eye on. And as you guys can see, it does show it died down as that pressure continues to increase, because like I said, it was 980 millibars down here, but now it's 985 millibars. However, though, this does show it just a little bit more organized, so even even though it's starting to die down, it does show it trying to organize a little bit as it reaches the Gulf of Mexico, and then because it reaches the coastal areas, this will likely die down quite a bit, but still may be a tropical depression by the time it reaches southern Mississippi and as well as Alabama as we head to November 9th, which is only about 7 days out from now, guys. This is a little bit concerning from what these models are showing, but because we are still heading 7 days out, this is still going to remain very uncertain. So, maybe pay attention to this a little bit if you do live across this area. Other than that, I don't think this is going to be a huge problem, given the fact that those water temperatures along the coastal areas right here are going to be much cooler than what they have been. We're talking temperatures in the upper 70s, so that's definitely below the limits on what causes tropical storms and hurricanes. 70-degree temperatures, like I said, are very cool and below those limits. We're talking those very cool temperatures in the coastal areas in the Gulf of Mexico. And if you're wondering about what we need to support tropical activity, we need these 30s degrees Celsius down here in the Caribbean, these darker pink colors, red colors. We need those to support tropical activity, and potentially Hurricane Patty will develop down here. But like I said, as it reaches those cooler waters, it will likely die down pretty significantly. But thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy today's weather forecast. Like I said, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as we are going to try to keep everyone safe from this potential tornado outbreak as we head to tomorrow. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't done that already, and of course make sure to subscribe if you would like to stay tuned for more weather updates on Weather with Sim. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up too as well. Those help out more than you know. And of course, leave any questions, comments, or concerns that you have down below. You guys can ask anything about what we can expect tomorrow, or you guys can leave anything else down below, as long as it's respectful. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your weekend.